Welcome to another edition of SKNIS Week in Review, a program that highlights the top stories of the work of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for the past week. A look at some of the highlights for August 31st to September 6th, 2018. Credit Reporting Bill 2018 passed. St. Kitts and Nevis to get active for Caribbean Wellness Week 2018. CFBC robotics team congratulated. And stakeholders sensitized on Nagoya Protocol. I am your presenter, Sherima Matthew. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, led the debate on the Credit Reporting Bill 2018 that seeks to establish a regulatory and a supervisory framework to support an advanced and fair credit reporting system in St. Kitts and Nevis, and by extension, the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECCU.
The bill will help to improve the quality of credit information provided to lenders and overall efficiency in the distribution of credit in the Currency Union and in St. Kitts and Nevis in particular. It will help to reduce credit risks, processing times, the costs, and over-reliance on collateral to back credit.
Prime Minister Harris, who was the mover of the bill, indicated that similar legislation will be implemented in all member states of the ECCU with the aim of developing a credit reporting system for the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States. The Credit Reporting Bill 2018, which had its first reading in the National Assembly on March 28th, was passed unanimously in the National Assembly on Thursday, September 6th. Still on the Parliament front, the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis has made it possible for non-gazetted police officers with critical skills and a desire to continue serving the public after the retirement age of 55 years to do so with the approval of the competent authorities. This was facilitated by the Police Amendment Bill 2018, which was successfully passed through the Federal Parliament on Thursday, September 6th. The extension of a service amendment relates to the Police Act Cap 19.7, Section 24. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, piloted the bill through the Parliament and said that while the changes were simple, they were important. Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr., fully endorsed the bill. He noted that the leadership of the Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force made recommendations for the changes for the officers below the rank of Inspector of Police to continue to serve, provided that they meet several requirements.
The Police High Command has recognized that based on the existing legislation, a number of experienced, well-trained, non-gazetted officers would have no option but to retire once they reach the age of 55, many of them in the prime of their life. This would include officers who are healthy, fully qualified, willing and able to continue to serve the country of St. Kitts and Nevis in the police force.
An amendment of Section 64 was also included in the Police Amendment Bill and makes provisions for the Deputy Chief of Police, or if absent, a magistrate, to hear a principal charge in the absence of the Chief of Police. This relates to matters being tried by police tribunal. St. Kitts and Nevis joined the rest of the Caribbean region in celebrating Caribbean Wellness Day on September 8th. A week of activities were planned in the Twin Island Federation to commemorate this year's event, being held under the theme, Maintaining a Healthy Workforce Through Movement and Diet. SKN, St. Kitts and Nevis, a nation on the move, was chosen by the local committee to convey the message of increased physical activity during the September 7th to 14, 2018 Caribbean Wellness Week, which is influenced by an expanded global initiative. Chief Medical Officer in St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Hazel Laws, identified diabetes, hypertension, and their associated complications, as well as cancer, as the main non-communicable diseases (NCDs) affecting the local population. On Wednesday's September 5th edition of Working for You, Dr. Law said that 83% of all deaths in the Federation are attributed to NCDs and made a plea for all to be physically active.
What we really want during this upcoming Caribbean Wellness Week is really to convince the public as to the importance of physical activity, exercise, and eating right, to the point whereby when you look at your calendar, if you determine that, hey, it's really tight, and you need to realize the importance of eating right and physical activity, to make allotment for it in your diary. So in other words, we want you to actively make time, set aside time to exercise, because at the end of the day, it's these little daily choices that's going to foster better health outcomes.
Notable activities including a Caribbean Wellness Day walk from Lime Keel to Bird Rock and back, health screenings at faith-based institutions, National Health and Wellness Fair at Independence Square, and National Sneaker Day and Soca-Size Workout at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. All of the activities will also be mirrored in Nevis. A warm welcome to Government House was extended to the members of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College CFBC robotics team by Governor General His Excellency Sir S. W. Tapley Seaton, who said he was quite impressed with the students who have proven to be successful in the field of robotics. This year, the team represented St. Kitts and Nevis in another exercise in Mexico City, where they won 6 matches out of 8. Last year, the team won 4 out of 8 matches. They were also able to retain first position in the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States and third in the Caribbean. The Governor General expressed how happy he was to see the progress made and noted that he was confident in the team reaching far.
I met some members of the team, I think, last year, because I had been pleased with your performance at the robotics exercise, and even before it was completed, and with the note of congratulations, because I thought that your efforts up to that time had been excellent, and then they were again continued. This year again, I'm happy to welcome you and to see that you are continuing to represent us with distinction, and I certainly want to encourage you.
In 2017, the team journeyed to Washington, D.C. for its first ever robotics competition and the world's first robotics Olympics. The country placed 36 out of 163 teams. St. Kitts and Nevis was the only federal country to be at that level. The island competed against countries that had 10 to 15 years of experience. Stakeholders from the public and private sector, as well as experts on genetic resources and traditional medicines and conversationists, took part in a 3-day consultation workshop aimed at reviewing and revising draft legislative provisions related to compliance with the Nagoya Protocol on access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from the utilization of these resources. Alistair Edwards, Permanent Secretary, who has the responsibility for environment, welcomed the participants and noted that St. Kitts and Nevis views the Nagoya Protocol as extremely important.
St. Kitts and Nevis recognizes the Nagoya Protocol on access to benefit sharing as an opportunity to promote and conserve the mutual beneficial exploration of our biological resources. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis recognizes the importance of this protocol and is cognizant of the fact that implementation will create greater legal certainty and transparency for both providers and users of genetic resources.
The Permanent Secretary said that it is important for each and everyone to contribute in some way to the development of legislative provisions to implement the Nagoya Protocol that is anticipated to be enacted by Parliament in due course. The workshop, which ran from September 5th to 6th in St. Kitts and September 7th in Nevis, was hosted by the Department of Environment and facilitated by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature (IUCN), with funding from the United Nations Environment (UNE) and the Global Environment Fund (GEF). The management and staff of the St. Kitts Eco Park, also known as the Agro-Tourism Demonstration Farm Co-op, hosted a training workshop aimed at further enhancing the experience of visitors and patrons to the facility. Farm manager Kenny Manning said that the workshop will help to improve the skills of staff and increase the marketability of the facility. He added that the Eco Park is poised to contribute greatly to the overall development of the nation, particularly in the areas of tourism, culture, agriculture, and social values.
This workshop is intended to enhance our skills and hopefully give us the opportunity to give more of what the guests, the tourists want from us, and therefore increase our marketability and our profitability. And this is why, in collaboration with Mr. Leah Stepton, we designed this program to help enhance that.
The workshop was facilitated by Leonard Stapleton, author, historian, and former educator. Topics covered included heritage tour development, tour guide skills, training, and role-playing. Participants were given a comprehensive history of the island through plans so that they can understand and explain to visitors how some of the local plants on the island came into existence. Approximately 100 people came together on Saturday, September 1st to clean up 4 bays in Sandy Point, making them more enjoyable for residents to use while enhancing the natural environment. The activity was organized by the Department of Youth Empowerment, who tasked members of its volunteer corps and mobilized community residents and workers from the Skills Training Empowerment Program STEP to accomplish the task. Officials from Parks and Beaches, the Ministry of Health, the Solid Waste Management Corporation, and the Red Cross also contributed to the effort. Pierre Liebert, acting director of the Department of Youth Empowerment, thanked the large number of persons who answered the call to help and echoed his disappointment in how littered the areas were.
Largely, we did a good bit of cleanup. It's disappointing, it's upsetting, it's frustrating that people would just be so negligent and have so little value of the natural beauty, the natural environment, natural cleanliness of the place, to just see it as a place to dump their trash.
Pump Bay, Alley Bay, Cleverly Hill Bay, and School Bay were littered with plastic wares, bottles, household waste, discarded furniture, and appliances and other items. The government official implored citizens and residents across St. Kitts and Nevis to dispose of garbage using the proper methods and to ensure that all surroundings are kept clean. The successes of Phase 1 of Exercise Tradewinds 2018, which was held in St. Kitts and Nevis from June 4th to 12th, have prompted United States officials to ensure that they are carried over to the planning phase for the 2019 multinational exercise, which will be held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Dominican Republic. This was echoed by Captain Coyote Sutton of the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force during Tradewinds 2018 After Action Review meeting.
The feedback that we got from United States Southcom members that were here is that the model of Tradewinds for St. Kitts and Nevis is ideal. It worked. And as a matter of fact, we are also being looked at to help the next country that will be hosting Tradewinds along the way so that we can share all the lessons learned and the best practices that we gathered along the way.
Reflecting on Phase 1 of the exercise, Captain Sutton noted that Tradewinds 2018 in St. Kitts and Nevis was a huge success as all the training and national objectives that were set in the planning processes of the exercise were realized. Breastfeeding Week 2018 was viewed as a time to remind the public that breastfeeding is a natural and progressive building block that should immediately follow pregnancy and childbirth to improve the health and wellness of babies in the Federation. This was according to Minister of State with Responsibility for Health, the Honorable Senator Wendy Phipps, during her address to the nation to commemorate the week.
The Ministry of Health also views Breastfeeding Week as a time for all of us to be mindful of the fact that breastfeeding is a natural and progressive building block that should immediately follow pregnancy and childbirth so that our nation's children will have the best chance at living strong, resilient lives where illnesses, diseases, and nutritional deficiencies are minimized during the entire life course.
Breastfeeding Week, which was introduced by the World Health Organization, was observed from September 3rd to 7th under the theme Breastfeeding Foundation for Life. Thanks for viewing another episode of SKNIS Week in Review. I am Sharima Matthew. See you next week as we continue to update you, the general public, on what's happening in and around the Federation.